Good morning. I think I have a grand total of about 20 seconds before this turns to chaos because the boys are both in grumpy moods. So I wanted to jump on really quickly because I didn't get on for Anzac Day, which is a big deal in Australia for those who are not from here. We usually take that time on the 25th of April to remember all the servicemen and women who have taken part in conflicts particularly throughout the 20th century, and just recognise their service and remember people who have been lost. So one of the reasons I wanted to get on was because I've done a lot of work on World War II and the histories of the Pacific, and one of the projects I've worked on for a long time, which I really need to get my head back into, is one relating to the history of Papua New Guinea during World War II. Hey, your shoes?
Where did my shoes go?
I don't know, they're on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Well, put it there.
Yeah.
Don't put my brushes and don't put my shoes.
Alright, I'll put them there soon. Okay, so I wanted to get on and just talk a little bit about that project that I've been working on. So I got roped into it with Jonathan Ritchie, who's done work in Papua New Guinea for a long time. Hey Saf, this is kind of for you too, actually. So I've been working on this project about the history of World War II in Papua New Guinea. And it was overseen by Jonathan Ritchie, who'd started doing these oral history interviews along and around the Kokoda track with some Papua New Guinean researchers as well, mostly from the PNG National Museum and Art Gallery. So Andrew Motu was the director at that stage, and Greg Bablis, who I've done some writing with, has worked a lot on it. Hang on, Eamon, just let me finish this, okay? Then we will play. They were doing interviews, and then when they finished doing the interviews, there were about 80 odd to do. That they were able to do, and then they sent the audios to me, and I was able to transcribe them. And I loved it because it was like being a fly on the wall listening to these conversations. Exactly. So that was the start of it, and then Jonathan managed to get more funding, and the project expanded out to look at different parts of Papua New Guinea. And Victoria's dead, and Victoria's an anthropologist. Or a bit of a jack of all trades, but we were able to help Jonathan to formulate that new iteration of the project, and we're involved in the next stages along with some other amazing scholars. Yes. And so for Milne Bay, there was a Papua New Guinean researcher named Anne Dixon Waiko, who was working on that with a young Papua New Guinean researcher. Unfortunately, Anne's passed away, but they did do a few interviews which I think you would find interesting. So each researcher had a designated area of PNG to look at. Mine was the New Guinea Island, so I was looking at the biography of a man named Isoli Salin, who ended up being one of the first Papua New Guineans in the Legislative Council in the 1950s. But through World War II, he was a coast watcher and was feeding information to the Australian and American troops, mostly the ones that were based on Emerald. And then also, it sounds like he was acting as an interpreter for the Japanese troops who had taken over his island. He was originally from a place named Tabar, and then I'm just going to let Eamon out from the stairs. Hang on, Eamon. Okay, so Isoli, come on, hop out, please. Let me bring you hippo. Good job. All right. He was from Tabar, ended up on where did he end up? New Ireland, and was there for most of the war, and he was keeping a journal of movements. Once the Japanese troops came up past him on the beach and he decided to act like he had malaria, tucked the journal under him in the sand and just like lay there like he was passed out. So yeah, he was under a lot of pressure. He was working with someone named Cornelius Page, or he at least knew what happened to Cornelius Page, who's a more well-known coast watcher, almost purely because he was Australian and had those contacts back to Australia, whereas Isoli was a bit under the radar of the administration. So that's one of the projects. I've really got to finish that book. Amen. I'm being scooped up by a bulldozer here.
Hey, Mum, look her.
Yes, I am. Can you kiss it better?
I can't.
Why?
No, me a bandage.
I do need a bandage. Yes. Are you gonna
I
give?
got it. I don't know.
No.
I make cookies.
We can make some cookies.
I make cakes.
Yes, you want to make cakes? We can make. We've still got all those cupcakes we made the other day. Do you want to eat those?
Make cupcake.
Yes.
Make cake.
All right. Well. So that's one thing, and the other piece of writing that Victoria and I were working on was about the hangings at Higaturu. That was one I was going to talk a little bit more about, but that was there were some missionaries and an American troop soldier who, oh hey Eamon, who was they were all killed. They were handed over by Papua New Guineans to the Japanese troops, and because the Australians were kind of in a grey area in their administration of the territories, and their power was in flux, hey, do you want to say hello to everybody?
No.
No? Okay, well you can just stay there then. That's okay.
Squishy, squishy.
Thank you, Squishy.
I want that.
It's the cake mixer.
Oh, cake mixer.
Yes.
Oh, there's two.
Yes.
1, 2.
Might have to move these videos to the evening when the boys have gone
So
to bed.
many. I make it.
You want to make it? Okay. Just let me finish this little story, okay? Yes, I know it's very annoying. So they were handed over to the Japanese and killed, and then as part of the retribution for that, the Australian troops decided to execute a number of Papua New Guineans. So I might recirculate the article that Tori and I wrote for that, because it was pretty...
Mom.
What? Just wait 2 seconds. All right, this is important.
I know why you're important.
Oh, Eamon. Mwah. All right, look. How about I'll post this up and you guys can read it. Sorry, this video has been quite... Can you not do that? All right, chaos is... I'll see you all later.